Hey everybody, another night, another movie, and I just got done watching 1994's Shallow Grave, starring Ewan McGregor, Christopher Eccleston, Kerry Fox, and a brief appearance by Keith Allen. This one I've actually never seen before, and the reason is the first time when I first got this on DVD, I started to watch it, but there's very fast and choppy editing at the beginning, and that can be something that tends to put me off. I mean, I nearly walked out of Moulin Rouge at the cinema due to similar style editing, but I sat through it this time, and I'm glad I did, because this is a really good, tense thriller. For those who don't know, it tells the tale of three flatmates, David, Alex, and Juliet, and they're looking for a new flatmate, and they go through numerous people, and they're quite quirky people. David is this very reserved, proper accountant, and Alex is like this all-out wild boy, and Juliet is this doctor who's very in between, kind of goes between the two. So they kind of mess with the people that are applying to be a roommate. And they go through numerous people, and then this one guy, Keith Allen's Hugo, turns up, and he's like, I've got the money, and he only meets with Juliet, which is weird because everybody else is shown meeting with the three of them together. But Juliet meets with him, she's charmed by Hugo, and she pushes the other two to accept him as the new flatmate, especially when he shows off a wad of cash, which we're led to believe he's kind of gathered through ill-gotten means, if you will. So he moves in, we see him with these suitcases, and then I'm not clear if it's the following morning or so, but they keep trying to knock on the door to Hugo's room. He doesn't answer. So then they break in, they find him naked, dead on the bed. And they're going to phone the police, except one of them's rummaging through and finds a suitcase packed full of cash. We're not told exactly how much, but it's a lot. So they don't, for whatever reason, they don't phone the police. I mean, I don't understand that, because they could have hidden the money, they could have done any number of things. I mean, they kind of, they want to keep the money, but David is the bone of contention regarding no, I need to, no, that's wrong, blah, blah, blah. And eventually he goes, okay, let's keep the money, let's get rid of this body. And they kind of use Juliet's hospital as a way of disposing of the hands and feet and head, but otherwise they take the body out to a forest and bury it in a shallow grave. And it does kind of bug me that they could have done they could have just phoned the police. They could have said, we burst in and he was just laying there. They didn't have to say he had money or anything, but whatever. I guess that's just a plot hole. But anyway, they they keep hold of the money, and David, who was the one who chopped off the hands and feet after drawing the short straw, he goes a little insane. Basically, this whole movie is watching as the events kind of tear them apart as friends, and jealousy and greed and a whole other, and especially while people that knew Hugo come looking for him and for the money and stuff. So it's this really tense thriller, and the musical score really highlights this and drives it forward. And there are amazing performances in this. Christopher Eccleston is one of those people that you can watch bounce from these very different kind of roles, and this one I get so, when I think of him in a lot of roles, he's very exuberant and bouncy and stuff, and this is so reserved. And it's interesting because you watch him as this very reserved character, and then you see him like locked away up in the attic, like with the money, and he's like drilled these holes in the ceilings of the roofs, and he's like running between each hole to look through, watching as his flatmates are moving below, and this kind of very Gollum-esque kind of way, and it's really amazing to watch this because you can see he is slowly this descent into madness, if you will. Um, Christopher Eccleston, Ewan McGregor. Uh, I think the problem is a lot at this time he was doing a lot of those kind of wild-eyed boy kind of, you know, with train spotting and stuff like that. Uh, he's playing the same kind of character, I feel, in a way, in this role. But he's still good in it. Kerry Fox, I don't think I really know from much else, so I can't comment on her other stuff, but I really enjoyed her Juliet. I just got a little confused with her character sometimes, like how much of it was real and how much was her just putting on a front kind of thing. So, and I guess that was the idea. But yeah, no, this is really well acted, really tense, and I'm so glad I actually sat down and finally watched this, because like I said, I had put this off for so long. I'd got it, I tried it, I was like, oh no, it's going to be like that the whole way through with that fast speeding voiceover stuff and that. And it's not that at all. So if you can get through the first few minutes, which is really more the credits, to be honest, once the credits end, it's normal. But excellent direction by Danny Boyle, and just generally, as thrillers go, I really enjoyed this, and you do end up, you kind of know the story, but at the same time it's like, where is this gonna go? And my only problem would probably be the detectives. Detective Inspector McCall, played by Ken Stott, who was playing this very kind of Columbo-esque character. I was just waiting for him to turn around and go, just one thing. They, for some reason, were really bugging these flatmates for some reason after a burglary that's downstairs. And I didn't understand how they connected the two together. That would be my only real problem with it. Like I say, you can say that the whole premise is slightly flawed, but I still found it enjoyable. And I would easily give this movie an 8 out of 10, because it kept me captured. And you know what? It's only an hour and 25 minutes long, but it felt so much fuller. You get these movies that are quite short and there's not much to them. Or you get these ones that are really long and I feel like they're dragging it out. Whereas this, I thought this movie was a lot longer. Not because it was boring me, but because it genuinely felt quite full. Now I guess if you break down the story, you could say, like, substantially, like, not much happens. But I genuinely felt like the story was a lot fuller, setting up the characters and stuff like that. I felt personally, just from watching it, it felt fuller than it is. So for an hour and 25 minutes, if you're after a good thriller, definitely check out 1994's Shallow Grave. That was tonight's movie, and that's the end of the week. This was actually a good movie to end the week on. I'm genuinely happy and surprised. We'll be back again next week. I think we're starting the week with a classic comedy. So looking forward to that. Of course, we'll be doing the chat on May to December's channel, our Movie Magic and Gaming Gurus chat. I think we're on like our 36th week or something, I can't remember. I'm going to get so much in trouble for not remembering what number it is. That's at 8:30, 8:45 in the evening, London time. So you're talking about 3:30 Eastern Standard. Please check that out, and then I'll be watching whatever movie it is afterwards. Please like and subscribe if you get the chance. Please check out my other reviews, especially more my anything with starting with the title sketchy reviews. They are my much fuller movie reviews, scripted and more descriptive, as opposed to these off-the-cuff reviews. So please check those out if you get the chance. But thank you all for your support. Please take care. Have a great weekend, and see you next week. For now though, this is Sketch, signing out.